I spent 9 months deployed overseas, dreaming of the day I'd finally walk back through my own front door, kick off my boots, and hug my husband. But the moment I unlocked the door, my mother-in-law, Evelyn, stood in the foyer, holding a clipboard. Before I could even drop my duffel bag, she handed me a laminated sheet of paper titled House Rules for Julia. Rule number 1. You are a guest in this house now, and dinner is served at 6 p.m. sharply. No military excuses. She thought because my husband had let her move in while I was away, she was running the show. She thought I was just going to smile, follow her ridiculous demands, and hand over my own home. What Evelyn didn't realize is that I didn't just come back with military discipline. I came back with the deed, a legal strategy, and a plan that would turn her rules entirely against her. Follow my story until the end and comment the city or country you're watching from, so I can see how far my story has reached. My name is Julia Bennett. I'm 39 years old, and after 9 long months deployed overseas with the United States Army, all I wanted was to come home to my sanctuary. 9 months of dust, loud engines, rigid military routine, and sleepless nights had left me exhausted. The only thing that kept me going was the thought of unlocking my own front door, kicking off my combat boots, and sinking into the couch in the home I worked so hard to buy. You see, I bought my house in Sacramento entirely on my own 3 years before I even met my husband, Mark. Every brick, every piece of furniture, and the deed itself had my name on it. It was my haven. But as I dragged my heavy duffel bags up the front porch and unlocked the door, I didn't find a quiet, welcoming home. I stepped into total chaos. Suitcases lined the hallway, unfamiliar boxes were stacked against my living room walls, and my favorite paintings had been replaced with gaudy, cheap decor. Before I could even call out for Mark, my mother-in-law, Evelyn, stepped out from my master bedroom, wearing a silk robe that wasn't hers. Behind her stood my sister-in-law, Chloe, holding a mug from my kitchen. Evelyn didn't offer a hug or a welcome home. Instead, she adjusted her glasses, crossed her arms, and thrust a laminated sheet of paper directly into my chest. "It's about time you made it back, Julia," she declared. "We need to go over the house rules right now." I stared at the laminated paper in my hand, completely speechless. Across the top, in bold, oversized red letters, it read, "House Rules for Julia." I scanned the list, my heart pounding harder than it ever did during tactical drills. Rule number 1, curfew is 9 p.m. sharply, no incoming or outgoing activity after hours. Rule number 2, Julia is responsible for daily kitchen cleanup and laundry for all house members by 7 a.m. Rule number 3, the master bedroom is permanently assigned to Evelyn due to her delicate back. Julia will occupy the guest room. And the absolute kicker, rule number 5, due to increased household utility expenses, Julia will pay $800 monthly in room contributions to Evelyn. $800 a month to live in my own house? The house I paid the mortgage on every single month? Just then, Mark walked in from the kitchen, holding a bag of groceries. He looked at me, then at his mother, shifting uncomfortably on his feet. "Mark," I said, holding up the paper, my voice dangerously calm. "What is the meaning of this?" Mark wouldn't even meet my eyes. "Look, Julia, let's not make a scene," he muttered, coming over to pat my shoulder. "Mom and Chloe were having a hard time with their landlord while you were away. They just needed a place to stay. Mom put those rules together just to keep some order around here while you transition back to civilian life. It's really not a big deal." It wasn't a big deal? My husband had secretly handed over my home, my bedroom, and my life to his entitled mother, and expected me to fall in line. 9 months in the military had taught me one critical lesson: never launch a counterattack without gathering full intelligence first. So, instead of exploding right then and there, I let out a slow breath, folded the laminated list, and slipped it into my pocket. "Fine," I said, keeping my face completely unreadable. "I'll head to the guest room and unpack." Evelyn smirked, clearly believing she'd intimidated me into submission. Mark looked visibly relieved, thinking he'd successfully avoided a confrontation. But while they thought I was meekly accepting my new role as a guest in my own home, I spent the next 24 hours quietly observing everything. That evening, I sat in the guest room with my laptop, pulling up my financial statements. What I found made my blood run cold. The joint household account I'd set up for Mark to manage utility bills had been systematically drained. Thousands of dollars had been transferred out over the last 6 months, paid directly to high-end clothing boutiques, luxury spas, and credit card balances under Chloe's name. Mark hadn't just let them move in. He'd been funding their lavish lifestyle with my hard-earned military pay. But the breaking point came at midnight. Stepping out into the hallway for a glass of water, I heard hushed voices coming from the living room. Evelyn was on speakerphone with someone, her tone dripping with greedy ambition. "Don't worry, Arthur," she was telling her real estate agent. "Julia is weak. She's already following my house rules. Give me 2 weeks, and I'll have Mark get her to sign the quitclaim deed transferring the title to me. Once the house is in my name, we can convert it into a rental property and split the monthly cash flow." They weren't just taking over my home. They were planning to steal it entirely. If Evelyn thought she was dealing with an ordinary pushover daughter-in-law, she was about to get a very rude awakening. I didn't sleep a wink that night. Instead, I spent the quiet hours assembling my battle plan, making phone calls, and gathering every legal document proving sole ownership of my home. At exactly 5 a.m. the next morning, my operation began. I plugged my phone into the high-powered Bluetooth house speakers in the hallway, turned the volume all the way to maximum, and hit play on a loud, piercing tactical military reveille bugle call. Within seconds, doors slammed open. Evelyn stumbled into the hallway in her pajamas, clutching her chest in terror, while Chloe shrieked in shock. Mark sprinted out of the master bedroom completely disoriented. "What on earth is wrong with you?" Evelyn screamed over the blaring horn, her face red with anger. "Are you out of your mind?" I calmly turned off the speakers, wearing my full army uniform, standing tall with my arms crossed. "Good morning, soldiers," I said, my voice cutting through the silence like a blade. "Rule number 1 in my house, wake-up call is at 0500 hours sharply. No military excuses." Before Evelyn could speak, I pulled out a fresh, official sheet of paper and handed it to her. "Since you love house rules so much, here is mine. It's titled, Property Commandment and Eviction Notice." Evelyn grabbed the paper, her eyes bulging as she read the terms out loud. "Item 1, I announced, looking right at her. "You have precisely 2 hours to pack every single personal item you brought here. Item 2, the joint household account has been officially frozen due to unauthorized, fraudulent transactions. Item 3, the Wi-Fi has been disabled and a private moving crew is already parked outside to remove any furniture that was bought with my stolen money. You are officially relieved of duty in my home." Evelyn's face turned from bright red to a ghostly pale, but her arrogance quickly flared back up. "You can't do this!" she shrieked, waving the paper in my face. "This is my son's house. He invited us here, and you have no right to kick us out like dogs. I'm calling the police, and will sue you for unlawful eviction." Mark stepped between us, looking panicked. "Julia, stop this right now," he yelled. "You're taking this way too far. She's my mother. So what if she spent a little extra money? She was taking care of the house while you were away playing soldier. You owe her respect." "I owe her respect?" I asked, letting out a cold, hard laugh. "Mark, she was literally on the phone last night with a real estate agent, plotting to steal this house from under me." Both Mark and Evelyn froze. Before either of them could utter another lie, the front doorbell rang. I opened it to reveal my attorney, Mr. Harrison, accompanied by two uniformed sheriff deputies. Mr. Harrison stepped into the foyer, opening a sleek leather briefcase. "Good morning, everyone," he said calmly. "I represent Mrs. Julia Bennett. I have here the original, sole ownership property deed, registered exclusively under her name prior to her marriage. I also have 6 months of bank audit reports detailing over $14,000 in unauthorized withdrawals from her personal accounts." He pulled out two official legal documents and handed them directly to Evelyn and Chloe. "These are formal criminal trespassing notices and immediate eviction orders. You have 30 minutes to collect your personal belongings under the supervision of these officers, or you will be placed under arrest for grand theft and unlawful occupation." The sight of two armed sheriff deputies standing in my living room completely broke Evelyn's composure. All of her smug confidence, her demanding house rules, and her fake authority vanished in an instant. She burst into hysterical tears, sinking onto my sofa and weeping that I was a heartless monster who was ruining her life. Chloe didn't say a word. Pale and trembling, she grabbed her designer bags, bought with my stolen money, and began shoving her clothes into suitcases as fast as she could. The deputies stood over them with arms crossed, quietly directing them to hurry up and step outside. While my mother-in-law and sister-in-law were being escorted out to the driveway like common trespassers, I turned my attention to Mark. He stood frozen in the middle of the hallway, looking small, disgraced, and utterly defeated. "Julia," he whimpered, his voice shaking. "Please. You can't be serious about pressing charges. She's my mother." "Your mother tried to steal my life's work, Mark," I said, stepping up to him. "And you helped her. So here is your ultimate choice, and you have 10 seconds to decide." I pulled a second folder from my attorney's hands. Option A. You sign a legal post-nuptial agreement today, agreeing to garnish your salary until every single penny stolen from my account is fully reimbursed, alongside mandatory marriage counseling. Option B. You walk out that front door right behind your mother, and my attorney hands you divorce papers before you hit the pavement. Mark stared at the document, tears finally welling up in his eyes as the reality of his massive mistake crashed down on him. Without saying another word, he grabbed a pen and signed his name. 3 months have passed since that 5 a.m. wake-up call, and my life has finally returned to peace. Evelyn and Chloe now live in a cramped one-bedroom apartment on the far side of town. With no access to my bank account, they were forced to sell their designer items just to cover rent. As for Mark, he is currently working 2 jobs, his regular office job and a weekend night shift, to pay back every single dollar he allowed his family to take from me. We're in counseling, but the power dynamic in my home has changed forever. He knows that if he ever puts his mother's greed over my loyalty again, he'll be out on the street with her. My house is once again my sanctuary. The cheap decor is gone, my quiet evenings are back, and no one hands me a list of rules in the home I built with my own hands. Deploying overseas taught me how to handle tough situations, but standing up to entitled family taught me something even more important. Never let anyone make you feel like a guest in your own life. Now, I'm curious about all of you watching. Did I go too far with my 5 a.m. wake-up call and legal eviction, or did my mother-in-law get exactly what she deserved? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out the next video on your screen for even more crazy family drama. Thank you for watching.